Hi listeners, this is Oge here, and I'm your host of Africa and Everywhere Conversations with Oge, where we talk about things that matter. And it's brought to you by Red Radio, powered by UBA, Africa's global back. So let's get into today's new episode. Our episode today, we're talking about insurance, and we'll have experts from that industry to talk with us today. But before we begin, I wanted to start a new segment, so I thought it'd be nice to get into these and ask our guests some questions. But let me quickly introduce the guests we have. We have Gloria Agugua, who is the head of human resources at Heirs Insurance Group. And we have Ifesinachi Okpagu, the chief marketing officer of Heirs Insurance Group. So thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for inviting us.
So the question I wanted to ask before we get into the heavier topics is, what is one topic you would speak about if you were asked to give a TED Talk on something outside of your main area of expertise?
That would be a very interesting question. Gloria, would you want to go first?
So I'll go first. I feel like I'd like to speak about people and, how supporting people and just understanding people and being close to people, you get a lot from them. Maybe because I'm a people person. But I do know that it takes a lot to understand people, but sometimes it might take patience, it might take understanding, it might take you having that listening ear, and you're able to, get the best out of people that you would have assumed that you can't get the best out of. So maybe something that is around people, human beings.
Okay. Thank you, Ifesinachi. What about you?
Yeah. I think there are two topics that I would be really passionate to speak about. The first would be just a topic on business resilience, especially on the African continent. I'm extremely passionate about business, right? And about just looking at the insights on how business can survive longer, right? Because, of course, we have a high death rate of startups. So just looking at how businesses can survive much longer on the African continent, that's one. And then the second, I'm really passionate about gender equality, really passionate about that. I feel very strongly that we need to get more women in leadership, especially in cross-corporate organizations. And again, especially on the African continent, you can see how many times I mentioned Africa. So I'm really, committed to the development of the continent and, of course, through gender equality.
Okay, no, thank you both very much. And, on that whole topic of gender equality and promoting the development of women, especially in Africa, I think it's topical because we're going to be touching on that in a later question. And how great that you're just so passionate about Africa, and that's the theme of this podcast. So it's great to have you both on. But yeah, so on today's episode, we're going to be discussing a topic that I've never really had that much knowledge on, but I'm excited to educate myself on this. And I also wanted to hear the real stories of successful women in this sector and in this industry, as well as learning how you got to this position. So today we'll be talking about the insurance sector, which is one that tends to be in its infancy stage in the African market, but it is projected to reach 123 billion USD by 2028. So with all that great potential, I'm excited to be diving into this topic. But I wanted to first start with the definition of what insurance is. So insurance is a means of protection from financial loss in which, in exchange for a fee, a party agrees to compensate another party in the event of a certain loss, damage, or injury. And so it's a form of risk management that's primarily used to protect against the risk of a contingent or uncertain loss. And building off of that, I was wondering if, whilst the two of you are my age, so this is early 20s, maybe late teens, did you know what insurance was, and did you care about it? Was it on your mind? Or no?
Honestly, before I came into the insurance space, I had heard about insurance, but I wasn't insured, to be honest. I didn't have any form of insurance apart from the insurance that you take on if you have to travel to the Schengen space. And I honestly still didn't understand why I needed to do that. I just did it because I felt that's the easiest way to get a visa. But coming into the insurance space, I totally understand insurance, and I do know that it actually is a way of life. It's something that I feel that is a quick win for anybody, because what it is that if you lose anything, if your stuff gets destroyed, insurance just puts you back to the state like nothing happened. So it's just a group of people taking away your problems or taking on your problems, so I feel like it's so important that we don't even talk about it enough. And I feel that I have only gotten this privilege to understand this very well because I work in an insurance space. But it's something that we should talk about more, and it's something that people should know, young people, older people. Insurance is for everybody, and it's pretty important. Thank you.
Just following up on that, maybe I can direct this at Ifesinachi. I wanted to ask, why do you think insurance should be a matter that's of interest to an ever increasingly young population? So I know in your role at Heirs Insurance Group, they're a group that has 3 companies that deal with different aspects of insurance. And one that I particularly want to get better insight on is actually life insurance. I know it's something that seems quite contradictory. How can you insure your life? And okay, if something does happen to your life and you pass, you're not the one that gets to benefit from that happening. So if you could explain to us, why is insurance important for young people? Also just dispel that whole narrative about what is life insurance and why is it of value?
Let me start by asking you a question, Oge, right? Do you have things that you really value?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Tangible things that you value.
Definitely.
And people that you love and you value as well.
Yeah.
Great. So if you have those 2, if you tick the boxes for both of them, then you definitely are a candidate for insurance. So Gloria had explained earlier, and I'll just add to her explanation. Insurance is so simple. And I didn't understand it before I joined, but now I'm able to get, oh my God, this with all this grammar, this is really what it means. Insurance simply says, if you lose that thing you value, right? Insurance will, instead of you to dip into your pockets, because times are hard, let's not lie. Instead of dipping into your pockets to then replace that thing, just outsource it to the insurance company. Let them replace that thing for you so that you don't suffer the serious damage. And then in case of life insurance, and I'm glad you raised it as a particular point of focus, for life insurance, you pretty much say, if something bad, unfortunate, death, or even disability happens to me, the people in my life that I care for, right, they won't have to suffer. They won't go and do GoFundMe. They won't go from pillar to post looking for who would bring money together for me to get the access to things that they need, right? So that's pretty much insurance. It just helps you bring you back to a place where you can at least have a bit of comfort.
Sure.
That's it in a nutshell. Now, there's something important you mentioned earlier. You said, with insurance, the person is already dead, right? So who exactly benefits? Again, you are insuring life because of the people in your life. It would be terrible, right, for a breadwinner to, let's assume a breadwinner passes, right? And then the children have to then drop out of school because there's no money to continue their education, or there's no food in the house, or you've had situations where someone will just take over the family property and all sorts of nonsense that happens, right? It's terrible. So insurance just ensures that no matter what happens to you, those people that are in your life, are well taken care of. And for young people, okay, we have to look at the reality of things on ground, right? There are some people that are young that also are the breadwinners of their family. They take care of their parents, their aged parents, and the like. So for those people, anything happens to you, your siblings are secure. They can continue school. And on. Your parents are secure, and on and on. And so that's really, I feel like there was someone I was speaking to a few days ago, and the person said insurance brings dignity to you, so that you don't have to start scouting, begging up and down. Insurance just ensures that life continues.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So you don't have to, like you said even earlier, set up a GoFundMe page because you don't want to have to do that. And I guess if you've taken the steps to prevent that from happening and you can ensure your life, then that's helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Add to that, okay. Another thing I like about the life insurance, right? So like in Heirs Insurance Group, the life insurance company, it's not just even about insuring your life. So as a new mom, I can actually put up an insurance for my child, maybe child's school,
Mm-hmm.
I'm bothered about, okay, what happens in his future, and I can just take out a little out of my salary monthly, and this is actually accrued. I get an interest, so
Mm.
interest is accrued, and my son's school is protected. So I'm not worried about when he's going to school. The money is already set out there. So it's not just about ensuring life. You can actually insure your child's future.
That's really good. I did not know that. I just always heard it as okay, life insurance. Wait, how does that
Mhm.
make
It's
sense?
a different product in life
Yeah.
insurance. It's interesting.
Okay.
Including savings and investments. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So before the episode as well, I was trying to do some more reading around the topic and just trying to focus on young people and the younger demographic. And I was reading an article on how young consumers don't seem to be getting insured or buying into insurance. And the main reason for this is like the issue of complexity and poor transparency around, okay, what is insurance, which I think we're even helping to tackle since we are trying to break down what is insurance and to a young audience of that. But I wanted to ask if the two of you could shed light on what you seem to find are other challenges unique to this African insurance market as for why young people aren't getting insured, and also, so twofold, if you could suggest like some solutions to help mitigate these challenges and help younger people become more insured. Who would like to take that?
I feel like young people aren't getting insured because there isn't enough knowledge around it. They
Mm-hmm.
really don't know. They don't know. So sometimes you can't get what you don't know. So I feel
Right.
like not it in this part of the world, in Nigeria, insurance is not a thing. It hasn't become a thing, but hopefully Heirs Insurance Group makes it a thing soon. So
Mm-hmm.
people don't even understand insurance. They don't understand how it works. So they just run away from it or they ignore it. That's one of the reasons why I feel that young people are not getting insured. And it's not even just young people, even educated grown-ups, they don't know, some of them just don't know about insurance, so they don't, and then there is no regulation around it. It's not mandatory. I do know that LASMA will stop you or something if you don't have car insurance, but it's third party, but in other countries, in America, everything is insured. It goes without saying,
Yeah.
right? So once you get a car, your car comes with insurance. You get a house, your house comes with it. Goes, it's a way of life. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like in Nigeria, we haven't gotten to the point where insurance is a way of life. There isn't much publicity about insurance. There isn't much awareness about insurance. I feel that if we do better in that regard, more people would get insurance because it gives you peace of mind. And who doesn't want peace of mind, really?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you.
So to add to that, and I think Gloria really hits the nail on the head regarding policy, regarding the access. In developed economies, you don't think about it. It's just bundled. In fact, there's no need. It's just bundled into the policies and the products that you get, right?
Yeah.
But here it's not quite. And so you can get away with anything. Now think about it. This is an economy. We call it an emerging market, right?
Yeah.
A developing economy. So meaning that our income per capita is definitely lower than the average, meaning that people are struggling. Many of them living below poverty line. One little thing happens, the entire income in the entire family crumbles.
Mistaken. Mm-hmm.
So, exactly. So we need insurance even more than the developed world, because insurance provides that backup, right? That
Mhm.
no matter what happens, you can't fall below the ground. But what is below the ground now? You shouldn't even fall, right?
Mhm.
Another problem is obviously the case of understanding of insurance. When we're in school, we learn different subjects: math, English,
Yeah.
economics, and many others. Does anybody ever care about insurance at that point? So it's not even taught in a way that you can appreciate it early enough. And even when you become, a young adult, you don't quite meet it in your day-to-day hustling to become, an independent adult at all. You don't quite meet insurance. So we need to fix insurance into those points where you start gaining knowledge of the world. When you are in secondary school, at what point is insurance exposed to you? When you're in university, at what point? Is there any coming of age thing that we can do for insurance? When you become an adult, you are pretty much set. You know, okay, I need to get investments, right? I need to start my investments. I need to get a job so I can start my investments. That is true. Now that I'm planning to get a car, I need to get insurance. Now that I have, do you get, and all those, and on and on and on. So there's a lot of, will I say, integrations we need to do beyond the normal policy formulation of the life. We need to integrate it into people's lives so that they can understand it and then appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. That's such a good point, because I'm even going back to when I was doing my A-levels, and the only reason I even came across insurance is because I did economics. But even in econ, my teacher said to us, like, okay, look, you guys, there's this thing called insurance, but you're not going to understand it. So let's just move on.
Right.
Exactly. So
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? And that is a point.
yeah. And
That is a
makes
point
sense.
right there.
Exactly. Like, I understand what you're saying, because if you're never really taught about it in your formative educative years, and then even when you start working, if you're just not informed about it, you won't get insured. So I agree, that's probably it definitely is a big issue. But I think most people think that getting insured and paying premiums must be quite costly, and it's quite expensive. Sorry to interrupt the episode. Promo Oge is here. This is just a reminder that this episode has been brought ever so kindly by Red Radio, your home for much more music and lifestyle, powered by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. But now that's enough. Let's get back into the episode. How do you convince someone that insurance still is worth paying? Because you're paying your premiums, you're paying a high price. The likelihood of something happening to you is actually not that likely. In fact, maybe you'll pay insurance your whole life, nothing ever happens, and you don't even get reimbursed for that in any way, shape, or form. And that's not how most monetary or contractual things work. You pay, you get a service. Okay, if something didn't happen, return my money, please. But that's not how it works in insurance. So can you just still convince us why we should get insured? And this point about people not being paid back their money, it's like, what do you have to say for that?
Okay, that's a very good point, right? Let me ask a question. Again, another question. When you have a security guard taking care of your house, you pay salary every month.
Okay, yes.
You're getting the point now where I'm going. So at the end of the month, nothing happens. At least he did not flex his muscles, right? You go and meet him and say, "Oga, please pay me my money back."
Yeah.
There you go. So that's literally what insurance does. They're actually giving you a service. And the service is that all of us in the insurance company, we're all praying, God, please let nothing happen to this person. The same way you are praying as well. Let nothing happen to me this month. The same way we too are praying, nothing should happen to this person. So everything around it, just making sure that we have a claims pool and a claims fund ready if anything happens. That's what you're paying for. You're literally paying for us to ensure that, anytime, God forbid, but if any wahala happens, this person will not, there's no story to tell. And if at the end of the month nothing happens, we're all relieved because we really want you to continue to thrive and the like, right? But if at any point, let's say you are driving, something happens and you hit somebody or somebody hits you, we will not even tell any story. Immediately, we pay that money, full, complete.
Yeah.
And the amount you pay as premium is so tiny. It's almost negligible for many of the types of insurance. Go and ask about fire insurance and the like, and you see that you're paying like something percent of the total value of the asset. So insurance money or premium is so tiny, but when it comes to claim, they pay you the full amount. So if your car is or your house is 40 million or 50 million, if fire raises it to the ground, which we do not pray for, the insurance company would not speak any grammar. It's the total amount complete, not one kobo missing that they would pay back. So I think it's a fair deal. A little amount for any contingencies in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ifesinachi. Okay, let me just add to that. So I did have a friend that I told about insurance. I talked to her about getting insurance. So she got insured. First year, nothing happened. Second year, I reminded her, have you paid for your insurance? She reluctantly paid. And then she said to me, why am I paying for this thing? Nothing even happened the first year.
Mm-hmm.
right? So I said, oh, just pay for it. It's not a big deal. It's not big money. It's money that you use and go and eat, right? And so the third year, this girl reluctantly paid. And shortly after paying, her car went to the airport. I think her brother drove the car to the airport, left the door open, and someone ran into the door and literally
Yeah.
slammed the car. And the car was in such a bad shape. And she called me crying. I said, "Did you pay for that insurance again?" She said, "I did now." I said, just call the
So why
insurance company. You're sorted. So she didn't think of it. She was like, is it that easy? And it was when she got the claim settlement and her car was fixed and it was like nothing happened. This
Yeah.
girl, I didn't have to remind her to pay for insurance again.
Very
Right. So I think when you get the claim settlement and understand the peace of mind you get, then you understand, the reason. In fact, my neighbor in my house, I got him to get insured with us. He did the first year. He got this really big, expensive car. The first year he insured. The next year he didn't insure. I was following up with this guy, he didn't insure. Then he traveled out of Lagos and he got into a terrible accident. Then he calls me on the phone and says, "Oh, can I pay for my insurance now?" I said, "I don't understand." He
It
goes,
doesn't
"Oh,
work
I just
like
had an
that.
accident." I said, "No, it doesn't work like that."
And it's
Yeah,
true.
so it's pretty important. You might feel like you're not getting value the first time because nothing happens, but it just takes that one thing, and then you then understand that everything you've been paying for is actually saving you for the future.
And may I add to that, Gloria?
Mhm.
And okay, let me mention that there are actually perks, and I'll talk about it from the point of view of Heirs Insurance Group. So
Sure.
we saw that, of course, some people complained, oh yeah, nothing back, the like. So that's why we rolled out what we call Heirs Insurance Rewards. Is this really fancy reward and loyalty program that when you become a customer of Heirs Insurance, you get access to discounts on spa treatments, fitness, gyms,
Mhm.
hotels, and all sorts of really lovely things. So imagine getting insured, right, and getting the backup and the financial security you need. But at the same time, when you walk into a spa and you just bring out your Heirs Insurance loyalty card, they just say, "Oh, welcome," as in 5-star VIP treatment, and you get discounts and the like. I think that's an extra value that we're giving our customers to make them enjoy life even more, because that's really what we're about. We want you to enjoy life without thinking too much. And so that's also an extra perk that we've rolled out, and our customers love it, love that. So I just thought to add that as well.
Okay. Nice little health insurance deal. But no, that's really cool to hear. Okay, so I now have a question moving a bit away from the technical side of insurance. This question is directed to Gloria right now. So I wanted to ask a question that maybe more people can relate to as well. As we had mentioned initially, you're head of human resources at Heirs Insurance Group, but I wanted to ask about your journey to and through the group. So I personally remember when you were working at Heirs Holdings and you were like at the front desk, and I always thought that was a cool job because you're the first point of contact. You get to chat to people. Like, that just sounds great. But I think it's really impressive how you've been able to move up the ranks and have now eventually become head of human resources at a different company even. And so if you could please share a bit about that progression with listeners, and did you ever envision yourself no longer working at Heirs Holdings, working at Heirs Insurance Group, head of HR and all of that? Like, what drove you perhaps?
Okay, so honestly, no, I did not envision that I would ever get here this fast. And but I feel that it was hard work, it was determination, the fear of failure. I think I was just very afraid to fail, even though I wasn't sure of what I was doing when I started. So right out of NYSC, I had no clue, And let me just state that people don't know this, but I was hired for a 3 month contract. It was supposed to be a 3 month contract role, but then it's been 10 years and 5 months now. Amazing. It's been quite an amazing journey. Starting off, I felt that what led me through was dedication, the fear of failure, and just wanting to serve and being true to myself. I was open to learning. So like I said, I was clueless about a lot of things. I started handling administrative functions. Later on, my line manager at the time, Owen, discovered and said, "Oh, would you like to handle a bit of HR?" And she started teaching me things, and I was handling HR stuff. And then I, started getting educated, getting qualifications in HR. And from there, I moved to becoming a HR analyst. And, um, first, again, the chairman said, "Oh, I believe in you. You can do this." In my mind, I'm like, I can't even do this. Nobody should believe in me because I don't believe in myself. So to be honest, I had that imposter syndrome that I'm just coming here to, just say stuff that I can't do. But I saw myself doing it. I asked questions. So for people listening, young people out there that do not believe in themselves, just try, just try. And the fear of, not doing it is worse off than doing it. So I think I was just able to try, and the fact that people believed in me, and then I put in my all. I showed up every day. I was willing to learn. So where you're unclear, ask questions. Don't be ashamed to ask questions. Don't be ashamed to ask for help. But in all, be dedicated, be focused, be true to yourself, and put in the work. Hard work indeed pays. And I do feel that it's hard work that has brought me this far, and obviously people that believed in me. So I would advise young people out there to, put in your all in whatever you do. Stay focused, ask questions where the need be have a passion for what you do, and the sky is your limit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think it's just always nice hearing advice and real concrete advice from people that have gone through it. It just shows, like you said, tenacity and just being determined are so important, because you wouldn't have been able to foresee that what was meant to be your 3-month stage to eventually become how many
10
years?
years.
Yeah, exactly,
10.
10 years. So, but that comes through just properly and diligently doing the work that's in front of you well. So that opens future doors. So, yes, no, thank you for that. Let me ask another insurance related question. So, what have you guys seen perhaps have been some of the most odd types of insurance policies people take out, or the oddest things people try and insure?
Insurance for body part for me is probably the weirdest. But I can understand, like maybe an athlete taking insurance to insuring their leg. It's weird, but think about it. That's their, that's how they make their living. Anything happens to that leg, that's the end. So yes, that's the weirdest
That's
that
the
I've heard of.
asset
But
right there.
exactly, that's their assets, and many other stranger. In fact, I can't even mention some. But the strangest things, yeah.
But because I'm actually just interested now, but why would insurance companies decide, yes, we will insure your vocal cords, for instance? Like, why would they agree to that? Because that just seems a bit, the asset is not as concrete or real life, physical. So why would you agree to that?
It's physical, because if anything happens, so first of all, you know that is the way they get their means of living, right? They earn money from that. So if something happens to it, and remember what we said in the beginning, with insurance, if something happens to it, that would really impact your daily life, then insurance should, you should insure that thing. So with the vocal cord, anything happens to that one, that's the end. So instead, if you insure it, anything happens, at least you can still live a decent life, even if something bad happens.
Thank you. And so my final question, because I had mentioned that we were going to touch on this, and I still want to ask the two of you about it. But for both of you, how have you been able to juggle your work and being in a corporate organization alongside your family commitments? So I know you're both moms, as Gloria, you even said, like a new mom, and you've been able to progress your careers. I just wanted to ask, how do you juggle the two, and even including the HR knowledge that we have on this call, right? What have been some good strategies you think your organizations have implemented, or what would you say as well more organizations can try and implement to make things easier for women and mothers in the workplace trying to progress up the corporate ladder?
So taking it from my organization and the HR angle. So we do support mothers, nursing mothers here. So for me, I'm still a nursing mother. So as a nursing mom, I get to first, apart from maternity leave that you get for 3 months, when you resume, you still have another 3 months where you can either resume later than other employees or close earlier. That way it gives you time to go and bond with your newborn and all of that. We don't have a nursing room per se, but we have a Zen room where mothers can take time in there to, pump, because for breastfeeding mothers, you need to extract milk at certain times. So you can go there. It's a quiet room where you can go pump breast milk and, store it and all. So we do encourage mothers. We show support and everything. But even for me as an individual, a working mom, I do feel that it's not been very easy, but it's something that I ask for help when I need help. When, there are certain things I need to do, I do not hesitate to ask for help. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the work still needs to be done. So it's not about creating a pity party. It's just about striking the balance. It's not an equal balance, but there
Yeah.
are just times where you know that, okay, this needs to be done, and you focus on that. And other time, maybe the home needs some attention and you seek help or permission to just attend to what you need to do.
Thank you. Ifesinachi, do you have anything to add?
So I do have a few things to add. Juggling a career and motherhood it's definitely not easy at all, and it's even worse for new moms. So I hail Gloria and every other new mom out there. I think for mothers, we all, and I've seen that in my own experience as well, we need to understand that we cannot achieve everything at the same time. We need to accept it. When you're at home, face home. When you're at work, face work. Because all aspects of your life are very important. Every single aspect, exceptionally important, and deserve your full attention. So I think we should definitely be able to put everything into compartments, right? So that at least we can deal with everything and give equal care and attention to all parts of our lives. Gloria mentioned a very, very important point, asking for help. It's so critical, and it's so critical. We should definitely learn to ask for help. We should surround ourselves with people who really care and who are able to support us, because that support network is what we need to get into the next, to unlock the next phase of our lives. Yeah, so I think that's it for me.
Okay, well, thank you both so much. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I know I've been enlightened. I hope through asking you some difficult questions as well that other people have been, and people go and get insured. I think that's the main takeaway, like young people as well. It actually is important to get insured. So thank you both very much for coming on, and I hope you've enjoyed being on here as well.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I totally enjoyed being on here. Thank you for having us, okay?
And let me tell people,
young people listening to this, get insured. For those who don't like you don't like
Heirs Insurance Group.
Yeah, I feel like there's already a lot of stress out there. So get insured with Heirs Insurance Group and you won't regret it. Trust me.
Period. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Hi guys, that's the end of this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and please make sure to subscribe and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube Audio, as well as follow us on our Instagram page, Africa Everywhere Oge. We hope you loved the episode and catch you next time.
This is Red Radio, powered by UBA, Africa's global bank.